Now we need Congress to pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and Mike is going to get that. And I think we can finally say one big, beautiful bill, because everybody's there. I spoke with John Thune, who's doing a terrific job also, and the senators, and we want one big, beautiful bill. Just put it all in that bill, and we'll figure a way to have it passed, right? We'll figure a way.
All right, joining me now is a guy actually next to the president, is probably the most important guy in turning out one big, beautiful bill. That is Office of Management and Budget Director, my friend Russell Vought. Russ, thanks for helping us. I want to ask you, we just had Senator Jim Banks on from Indiana, very smart chap, I think you'd agree. And he said that they're waiting on Russell Vought, OMB Director, to give him a rescission package to take down a lot of unnecessary spending. I don't know whether you do that in reconciliation or on its own. Just give me a moment on rescission packages, Russ Vought, please.
You bet, Larry, and thanks for having me on. We are definitely considering a rescissions package. I was up on the Capitol Hill today talking with Leader Thune and the entire leadership team about what they were interested in passing, and we've obviously come up with a number of cost savings and reductions that make sense to waste, fraud, mostly fraud and abuse that existed for far too long in the federal government. And there is a great degree of appetite to have a rescissions package that we send using fast-track procedures that generate from the executive branch to Congress that don't need to have a filibuster-proof vote. My big concern always is it going to pass? And there's a great enthusiasm and commitment to work with us to send something that could pass. And so we'll be hard at work over the next week or so to think through what specifically we intend to send up there. But we'll be at that work, and hopefully we're able to lock some of these savings in permanently.
Well, Director Vought, is there a ballpark number you could give us? What kind of numbers are we looking at here? Ballpark.
You know, I don't want to get ahead of the process that we're underway to figure out what's the best and most likely type of cut that we could send up that would attract the necessary votes on Capitol Hill. And again, you know, we sent up rescissions in the first term. You and I were a part of those, Larry. We hadn't used those in decades, those procedures, and they passed the House and didn't pass the Senate. And what I wanted to hear today, and I did hear, was the extent to which leadership was really bought in on making sure whatever is sent up passes. And so now it's on us to provide options to the president. Don't have anything to announce it right now, but he is interested in sending some of the DOGE cuts up, and we'll be working on those in the week ahead while we're working on our fiscal year 26 budget and the reconciliation process, which is a little bit different than this.
Yeah, well, I think all those senators are scared to death of you, so that's a good position for an OMB director to be in. But anyway, I just thought I'd try. One other thing, I want to get this $12 billion emergency spending that's been cut down. But I want to ask you, big headline today, Russ, what is it, 10,000 jobs in HHS are being ripped out. I'm sure they have severance pay and so forth. Just about 1/4 of the health department, health agency is being cut down. Now, that's quite a bit of, you know, that's a big piece of change from the DOGE brothers.
No, it's fantastic. I talked with Secretary Kennedy about an hour ago, and, you know, he is really excited about what they've unveiled today, the extent to which they've reorged the department, the number of people that they're able to let go and be able to find efficiencies at HHS. And so it's a really exciting what you're seeing across. You know, we've had a lot of cabinet meetings, and these are real cabinet meetings that are transparent, and we talk about a lot of this stuff, and each cabinet head is leaning in to be able to figure out how they can do their job more efficiently. And I would just say, with regard to what the president did earlier this week, one of the things in the debt limit deal that had been so bad for the country fiscally was the way that they pushed normal spending, and they made it a quote unquote an emergency spending, so it wouldn't cut against caps. It wouldn't count against caps. And what the president did this week was to say, we've got $3 billion of mostly foreign aid, and we're not going to agree that this is an emergency. And the way that they had written the bill allowed us to do that, and it immediately canceled the money, immediate savings to the taxpayer. And that's really the kinds of things that we were promising that we would deliver. The President Trump did that this week when members voted for the CR. We believed at the time, and we are being proved right, that we had more opportunities if the CR passed to begin to make these types of unilateral decisions where we have the law in our favor, and also sending up a rescission package in this instance, and we've got some other things up our sleeve for the rest of the year.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, so you did it, took words out of my mouth. But last minute, Russ, I mean, taking that money out, the $3 billion out, which is an important step, there was no emergency. Is that a form of executive presidential impoundment?
It is not. It is using the way they literally had written the appropriations law to give us the discretion to say that these particular funding accounts were emergency. And because it was constructed under Joe Biden and it was a CR that carried over the terms, we had that discretion and we used it. And that's what we promised the country when we said we would be going forward with the continuing resolution. It was never an intent to be at current law levels. We were going to use every opportunity we could to drive spending down. You saw that this week, and you're going to continue to see it in the weeks ahead.
All right, fabulous stuff. Thank you ever so much. I know you're a busy chap. OMB Director Russ Vought, we appreciate it.